Welcome back to another episode of my Quilling Alphabet series, where I showcase different styles and techniques for making quilling letters. I've already quilled the letters A to H, and in this video I will show you how to quill the letter I. Actually, I have two different designs for the letter I. I made the red quilling design a long time ago, but I wasn't satisfied with it, so I decided to craft a new one. And this one looks much better. Let's jump right into the quilling process. The first steps in quilling letters are always the same. I will quill the letter on thick cardboard, but before I do that, I will transfer the lines of the letter onto the cardboard using an embossing tool. After this little preparation, I can start quilling the letter. For this project, I will use strips in different green shades of 220 GSM paper for the leaves. First of all, I use a needle tool to curl the strip in two directions so I can shape it as needed. I will also roll the end of the strip with a slotted quilling tool to craft a swirl at the end. To do this, I start rolling the strip with a slotted tool and then roll it between my fingers to avoid the center hole at the beginning of the swirl. Before attaching the strip to the cardboard, I will compare it to the pattern I drew earlier and cut the strip to the right length. After that, I apply a small amount of glue to the strip and attach it to the cardboard using my tweezers. Once the first strip is attached, I will add more green strips in different shades, following the shape of the first strip. And then I will attach tiny flowers along the strips, 3 on the bottom part and 3 on the top. For the flowers, I will use 130 GSM paper strips. Therefore, I will start with the center of the flowers by rolling tight coils without center holes. You can also roll tight coils using a slotted quilling tool, but I really don't like the center hole, so I prefer to roll my coils between my fingers instead. Once the tight coils are ready, I will attach them along the green strips, leaving a small gap for the petals. To add some contrast to the flowers, I will use two different shades of yellow for the petals. I will cut many small strips of the same length. Then I will form them into teardrop shapes and press my thumb onto the curved side to craft a triangle shape. After that, I will pinch it further to make a heart shape. And this is the shape I'll use for the petals. After I've made some of these shapes, I will attach them around the tight coils on the cardboard. This process might take some time because the flowers are very tiny. I find it easier to hold the flowers in place for a few seconds with my fingers until the glue dries a bit. Now, I will add 3 more flowers to the top part of the leaves using the same process. And this is how the flowers look once they are complete. I will add some more green paper strips to fill out the leaves. Once the flower design inside the letter is complete, I will move on to outlining the letter. For the outlines, 300 GSM paper is perfect. I will measure the strips along the lines I transferred to the cardboard earlier and fold the strips into the right shape. Once the strip fits perfectly along the lines on the cardboard, I will attach it. Since the leaves and flowers extend beyond the letter, I have to separate the letter into many small sections. For each little section, I will measure the correct length of the paper strips before attaching them. I decided to fill the inside of the letter with some curved teardrop shapes and swirls. Here's an example of how I make the curved teardrop shapes. First, I curl the strip and then glue the ends together. After that, I form the teardrop shape along my thumb to give it a nice curve. I made 4 of these shapes in different sizes and attached them to the cardboard. I will also add some swirls and many tight cuts without center holes, placing them randomly inside the letter. As a final artistic touch, I will add some straight lines inside the letter. Since those strips should be straight, I will use 300 GSM strips again. Before I can attach the strips, I have to measure the right length of the strip one by one. To do this, I cut tiny pieces from the strip until it reaches the right length. This might take some time, but it's absolutely worth it. I will attach the straight lines with small gaps between each other. The length of the strips depends on the quilling elements inside the letter. As you can see, I add some small strips and some larger strips to fill the letter. I really enjoyed this part of the quilling process the most. When it comes to framing, I will use a green background for this design to enhance the leaves. I hope you learned something new in this video. I would really appreciate it if you press the like button. More letters are coming soon. If you haven't seen the previous letters in my Quilling Alphabet series, you can watch them in this playlist right here. Thank you for watching and happy quilling!